Hi, my name is Jonny and I'm a doctor. I don't usually do videos, but I feel this is something important that I wanted to talk about. Um, I was at the London Bridge attack last night, and to my knowledge, I was the first doctor or first medic on scene at Borough High Street on that area that was just south of the bridge. Um, I was off duty. I was having dinner in a restaurant when I heard people screaming. I ran outside and saw casualties with multiple life-threatening injuries. I was very quickly joined by bystanders, police, and we began assessing and treating them. My thoughts are obviously now with the victims, their families, and their loved ones, especially those that sadly lost their lives. Got to say, the armed police were brilliant. They arrived and responded very, very quickly. Shots were fired, and three suspects were taken down on the scene. We needed to move the casualties to a safe zone just across London Bridge, and that's where I was joined by there was the rest of the medical team, and paramedics were stationed there with ambulances. Many were off duty. There were lots of off duty staff, doctors that were just there volunteering to help. Once all the casualties had been assessed, triaged, managed, and transferred to hospital, I helped the police control the crowds. We were ushering people into places of safety, which for obvious reasons I won't comment on, and keeping them there until it was safe for people to be escorted away so they could get home. And to be honest, that's about as much as I want to talk about the incident itself. Yes, it was horrible, it was scary, and it was sad, very sad. But I'd rather focus on some other points that I feel are probably more important. Firstly, I want to just say how great people were last night. There were so many brave individuals who selflessly helped, for example, the people inside the restaurants and bars, keeping them safe. People who took on the attackers. There were bystanders, to members of the public, waiters, police officers, both those off duty and those in uniform, who came to the rescue. They came to help treat casualties, keep the public and also the medical team safe. So I just want to say a massive, massive thank you. And especially to all the on and off duty doctors, paramedics, nurses on the scene. I've never felt more proud and privileged to work alongside such great NHS staff. And also, this also includes the police and bystanders and Good Samaritans. There was just so many brave people. Also the staff inside the safe areas. So whilst the immediate area was being cordoned off, they were helping to keep people calm and safe, providing support to the police and myself in those areas. And it was truly a great show of humanity on all fronts. And so just to all of those people, just a massive, massive thank you to all of these nameless heroes and heroines. Thank you. On a personal level, I want to say a massive thank you to all my amazing friends and family who have offered me so much support. And I want to say thank you and I love you. I guess that brings me to the next point, which is about humanity and our society. And where do we go from here? Now, again, these are just my opinions. I'm nobody. I'm just a member of the public with my own individual perspective. I'm sharing that perspective. One of the things that I feel strongly about, and even more so after last night, is the importance of not giving in to terror. And I believe that terrorism only works if we become terrorized as individuals and as a society. I know it's not easy. I know it's natural. We will all have a lot of emotions after an event like this, whether that's grief, fear, anger. There's a whole range of things that we may be feeling. And I think it's important first to accept those emotions, or even accept a lack of those emotions. Um, Whatever we feel, it's normal and it's valid. But the next step is to understand where these emotions come from and be able to rationalize them. A key thing for me is that we should not allow ourselves to become mental victims of terror, and instead we should focus on our unity and continue with our lives as normal, continue doing the things that we love, and continue to spend time with the people that we love, because that's how we move forward as individuals and as a society as a whole. It's also how we don't allow ourselves to become defeated or let this change our way of life. And then next, I'd like to talk about, I guess, the importance of sticking together. And I think it's very easy or at least sometimes for people to feel polarized at a time like this. I believe we must all unite together and not have our society become torn apart, not to become divided, and not to give in to that fear. And I guess also, to deal with the elephant in the room. Because obviously our Muslim community, and I want to stress our Muslim community, will undoubtedly be put into the media spotlight after this event again. And many of our Muslim friends will unnecessarily be going through a very hard time after this and be asked awkward questions, which really isn't fair. So I'm not Muslim. I have a Jewish Israeli background, and I'm secular. But still, my message, I guess, and my perspective is twofold. To those of us who are not Muslim, we must first realize that Islam, religion in general, is not the issue here, and Islam is certainly not the enemy. The issue is violent people and vulnerable individuals in society who are susceptible to radicalization by those violent people. I think one of the key things to focus on is to first recognize there is that distinction, and as a society to support those vulnerable members of our society to prevent them being radicalized or further radicalized to commit acts of violence. And then to all my Muslim friends, firstly wishing you all Ramadan Kareem and Mubarak. To those of you that are fasting, I hope it's a meaningful one and wish you a good fast. This is a difficult time for all of us, and I'm sure it doesn't need to be said at all, but if it wasn't clear, we're obviously all in this together and we're all part of the same community. And so in summary, I just want to say thank you. Let's try to keep moving forward together, continue to live our lives and shared values, share a society that has differences, and to be able to celebrate those differences as well. And lastly, again, thoughts and wishes with the victims and their loved ones. Thank you. Peace.